I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
Welcome back. How you doing? Thanks for joining. It's the Midday Muscle. Now that we're officially getting close to the start of summer, it's time to start that countdown for one of the biggest events, the Chicago Pro. With the way things are shaping up right now, it looks like Blessing Awadibu is figuring to be in the mix for a top 3 spot here when things are all said and done. It's been interesting watching Blessing's physique start to shape up throughout his prep, because now he's at the point where all the work he did during the offseason to add size to his weaknesses is starting to pay dividends. If he can manage to win this show and beat out some of the big names that we're expecting to see on stage there, it would be a huge step in the right direction for him, and potentially even set the stage for him to leverage that momentum into another win or 2 before he has to shift gears to start focusing on Olympia. And now that we're talking Chicago Pro, why don't we jump into this update from Justin Shear, who's prepping for his rookie debut. And lately we've heard from a handful of people that they believe he has the potential to be a real breakout star this year, if he's got a good showing. On the old paper, it looks like he's added a ton of muscle since he won his pro card at the NPC Nationals a few years ago. And now that he's starting to strip off some layers, you're going to see more of the shape and the lines that made him a standout during his time at the amateur level. If he can really dial in the conditioning here and doesn't get caught up in his conditioning here and doesn't get caught up in playing some size game, there might be a real possibility for him to crack the top 5 before all this is said and done. Well, if you stuck around for yesterday's show, you'll remember that was jam-packed, so we didn't quite have time to squeeze in this update from Samson Dauda and his latest guest pose appearance at the Atlantic States. And it's about time we mention it now because he might have been the most impressive thing that hit the stage in this early part of June. We know from his camp that he's in the process of pushing his weight up somewhere close to the 340 range, which should, in all likelihood, have him come in significantly heavier at the Olympia than when he was at the Arnold back in March. And if he can convert those numbers on the scale into high quality stage weight like he has in the last 2 or 3 times out, the package that he brings to the Olympia weekend is really going to be something. Well, it would seem we're not the only ones looking at Samson Dauda right now and making some projections, because we're also hearing some of those comments from his peers too. In fact, Samson actually got a huge endorsement from Justin Rodriguez, who saw him backstage over the weekend. And Justin went as far as saying that he believes we're going to see a new Olympia champion be crowned this year, which feels like a major statement coming from a guy like Justin, who's been in the trenches with both Hottie and Samson at their best. So if we start hearing more opinions like this as the next few months start to unfold, this might just set up a real interesting scenario for the Olympia weekend, where we could have a handful of active competitors at the upper echelon of the sport actively betting that the reigning champ will have a hard time retaining his title. We're done yet again. That was the Midday Muscle. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.